Okay, I hope every one of you dah ada lecture notes lah ya. Okay, semua boleh nampak saya punya ni screen.
Nampak.
Okay, good. Alright, so chapter 4, biological molecules. Okay, part 2. Okay, previously we have learned on the functional groups and the macromolecules and also the carbohydrates. Okay, and for today, inshallah, we will cover on the lipids, protein, and nucleic acid. So in lipids, there are fatty acid and cholesterol, simple lipid. Okay, for example, steroid, prostaglandin, complex lipids, for example, triacylglycerol, phospholipid, phingolipids, and waxes. So there are several types of lipids. And for proteins, we will learn on the amino acid, how the peptide formation and the polypeptide chain, the level of protein structure, and the process of denaturation and renaturation. And for the nucleic acid, we will learn on the function and the types of nucleic acid. We have DNA and RNA, okay, and then their functions. Okay, so for the lesson outcome, you must describe the importance of the functional group. Ini yang terlepas Identify the biological macromolecules and the physical and chemical properties and also the physiological roles. Okay, for lipids, all right. Okay, now we're going to the lipids, the general chemical structure. So you have to know the compound that consists inside the lipid component. So they have carbon, hydrogen, and few oxygen containing functional group. And the general properties, lipids do not have polymer like carbohydrate. Okay, they do not form polymer. Okay, and it is greasy and oily compounds. It is insoluble in water because due to the non-polar covalent bonds, and also soluble in organic solvent. So this lipid, they can soluble in organic solvent like alcohol, benzene, chloroform, any hydrophobic, any solution that have hydrophobic behavior. Okay, for the lipids importance, okay, so these are the lipids important as heat insulator. Okay, so it consists in your plasma membrane. Okay, we have phospholipid bilayer, and it also act as a cushion for internal organs. Okay, for plant, it acts as a wax coating to protect from transpiration, high transpiration rate, and highly energy storage reserve, and also for immune system, it acts as a emulsifier. Okay, and also as a fat soluble vitamin. So it transport the fat soluble vitamins. Siapa masih ingat apakah contoh-contoh fat soluble vitamins? What are the examples of fat soluble vitamins? D, okay, vitamin A, vitamin D, and EK. Okay, right, good. Okay, although fats are not strictly polymers, they are large molecules that form by smaller molecules by the process of condensation or dehydration, same as carbohydrate. Okay, so if you still remember what happened during this process, condensation or dehydration, what really happened during this process? Anyone? What happened during the condensation process? What molecules have been
Release of
removed?
water.
Yes, removal of water. Good, Alia. Thank you. Okay, so in condensation or dehydration process, water molecule will be removed in order to form the bond or the linkage between two molecules. Okay, so constructed from two kinds of smaller molecules, lipid can be in the form of glycerol and also fatty acid. Okay, so the major classes. Okay, so these are the major classes of lipid: triacylglycerol. Okay, so normally we call them as fats and oils, and phospholipid, another component of membrane. For example, lecithin. Waxes are normally found as cuticle covering the leaf of plant, and also steroid are used in the medical. Okay, for example, of steroid are cholesterol and testosterone hormone. Okay, so these are the four major classes of lipid: triacylglycerol, okay, the common one, and the waxes, phospholipid, and steroid. Now we go into the first group, triacylglycerol. So this triacylglycerol, it formed by the addition of one glycerol with three fatty acid. Okay, so in order to join these two molecules, so they need to do the condensation process. Okay, so what happened during this? So this OH, okay, hydroxyl group with the H here, okay, will be removed as water molecule. Okay, so this one, okay, will be removed. Water molecule will be removed. Okay, so this process called condensation or dehydration. Okay, and now is the triglyceride molecule. So an ester linkage created by a triglyceride or triacylglycerol formed by a series of three condensation process. Okay, so the formula for triacylglycerol is 1 glycerol plus 3 fatty acid. Okay, and triacylglycerol also known as triglyceride. Jadi sama. Okay, so when we name triacylglycerol, the similar to this triacyl is triglyceride. Okay, so it is the same. Okay, so that is the ester linkage that form from this process. Okay, so triacylglycerol also known as fats and oils. So fats, it means that it in the form of solid at room temperature. Okay, meanwhile oil are in the liquid form at room temperature. So the functions, of course, as a energy storage. Okay, for example, oil-bearing plants store triglyceride in seed. Meanwhile, animals store these neutral lipids in adipose tissue. And also, this triacylglycerol act as a basic component of natural fats and also function as insulator in humans and also animal body. Okay, so fats or triacylglycerol divided into two types, saturated and unsaturated fats. Okay, if you still remember what is the meaning by or what this saturated and unsaturated fats referring to? Bila you dengar saturated or unsaturated, apa yang you what has come into idea? Apa yang you terfikir? It relates to characters ke? Apa yang you bayangkan? Saturated or unsaturated? Chemical bond. Okay. Razik jawab chemical bond. Okay. Mahdia jawab saturated from animal. Okay. Alright. Good. Dua-dua betul. Okay. So it depends on the chemical bond. Saturated fats meaning the maximum of number of hydrogen. They have maximum number of hydrogen that attach to the carbon backbone. Meanwhile, unsaturated fats, they have double bond. Okay, so meaning the chain is not saturated. Okay, normally saturated fats belongs to animal fat. Betul, okay? Betul yang kawan awak cakap tu betul. So it refers to the structure of the hydrocarbon chain of the fatty acid. Okay, so these are the examples of the saturated fatty acid and unsaturated fatty acid. Okay, so saturated meaning full. Okay, saturated, penuh, saturated with hydrogen atom. So it has a maximum number of hydrogen atom. So the character, the structure of the saturated fatty acid, they have straight chain. Okay, no carbon-carbon double bond. Okay, only straight chain. Okay, no carbon double bond, no, only single bond. Tight packing with each other. So that is the reason why it has high melting point. Maksudnya dia daripada solid, dia nak tukar kepada liquid sangat susah. Dia memerlukan suhu yang tinggi untuk change the state, from solid to liquid. Okay, so mostly they are solid at room temperature. Okay, so you must remember saturated fatty acid normally they are solid at room temperature. Most are animal fat, and they can increase your cholesterol level in blood. So tak eloklah kalau kita ambil dalam kuantiti yang banyak. For example, palmitic acid, stearic acid, lauric acid. So these are the examples of saturated fatty acid. Okay, and the second group is unsaturated fatty acid, which has fewer hydrogen atoms due to the presence of double bond. So when this double bond form in the chain, so they will produce a kink. Okay, so this is a kink. Okay, kink at double bond. So one double bond, we call it as monounsaturated fatty acid, meaning it has only one double bond. In the chain, only one double bond. So let's say if in the chain consists more than one double bond, we just call them as polyunsaturated fatty acid. So the character of this fat is liquid at room temperature, and it has low melting point. Okay, so most are plant and fish fat, so it decreases the cholesterol level in blood. For example, oleic acid, linoleic acid, linolenic acid. So these are the examples of the unsaturated fatty acid. Okay, so far any questions? Ada nak tanya soalan ke? Anyone? Okay, semua okay? Tak ada, okay.
Okay, madam.
Alright. Okay, so this is phospholipid, another group of phospholipid. So we can find this phospholipid in our cell membrane. Okay, so the formula is 2 fatty acid tails plus glycerol that attach to phosphate group. That's why the name is phospho. Came from the word phosphate. Okay, so this is the phosphate group. So this is the glycerol. Okay, and then this is the fatty acid. Okay, so it's similar like fats but different in structure. Okay, normally they are, all of them are considered as triacylglycerol. Okay, but the difference is according to the functional group that attached to it. Okay, functional group berbeza jadi nama dia berbeza. Okay. Okay, so this is the image of the phospholipid. Okay, so this phospholipid, it has a hydrophobic and hydrophilic character. So for example, the fatty acid here act as a hydrophobic tails. Meanwhile, the phosphate here, okay, it act as the hydrophilic. Okay, it acts as a hydrophilic head. Okay, so in phospholipid, they are hydrophilic and hydrophobic. Hydrophilic head and the hydrophobic tail. So you have to know what contribute to this hydrophobic character. Okay, the fatty acid. Okay, what contribute to the hydrophilic head, the phosphate group. Okay, yang tu you kena tahu. Kenapa? So when they have two characters at one molecule, we call them as amphiphatic. Macam ni, amphiphatic meaning they have both character, the hydrophobic and also hydrophilic characters. Okay, so these are your cell membrane. Okay, at the surface of a cell, phospholipids are arranged as bilayer. Okay, so the hydrophilic head are on the outside in contact with the aqueous solution. Meanwhile, the hydrophobic tails form the core inside. Okay, so please don't confuse, okay, which one is hydrophilic, which one is hydrophobic. So you have to identify the character of this phospholipid, okay. So the tail is consists of the fatty acid. So since it is fatty acid, so it has the hydrophobic character. Okay, the phospholipid bilayer forms a barrier between the cell and the external environment. They are the major components of the membrane. Okay, so these are the importance of phospholipid as a basic component of cell and act as a boundary between the cell and its external. Okay, so this is again the structure of the phospholipid. Okay, yang ni semua you all dah belajar so kita lebih kepada revision saja. Okay. Okay, the last group will be steroid. Okay, steroid ni the main character for steroid is they have 4 fuse ring. Okay, 4 fuse ring. So you kena tahu. Okay, the carbon skeleton they have 4 fuse ring. Okay, so this is the trademark for steroid. Kalau you nampak ada 4 carbon fuse ring, so this is steroid. But the name different. Okay, the name given differently due to the functional group that attached to it. Okay, for example, in cholesterol, kita ada methyl. Okay, kita ada methyl group. Okay, and kita ada branch. Okay, and then for the testosterone, okay, there are different functional group that attached to it. So that is why we call it as testosterone. Okay, so the properties of steroid characterized as lipid due to its hydrophobic and insoluble in water properties. And then the various type of steroid is due to the various functional group that attach to the ring. Okay, so steroid, they must have 4 carbon fuse ring and with different functional group attached to it. For example, is cholesterol and the sex hormone. So these are the importance of steroid. Okay, steroid is importance as essential component of animal cell membrane, major component of myelin in the brain, and also act as a precursor, okay, precursor pemula, okay, for the synthesis of other steroid. In testosterone, this hormone, okay, this hormone, okay, will stimulate the sperm formation and also promote development of the male duct system in the fetus, and also responsible for secondary sex characteristic in male. Okay, for example, facial hair growth. Okay, semua tu dipengaruhi oleh hormon testosterone. Meanwhile, estrogen, it controls the secondary characteristic in female. For example, breast, pubic hair. Okay, and then for the menstrual cycle, and also help in the egg production. Okay, so these are steroid abuse in sport and health. Okay, so you all boleh baca lah. Okay, the effects of abuse, steroid abuse, for example, it cause infertility in male. It can cause renal failure. It can cause baldness, cyst, acne. Okay, and also affect your mood. Okay, you become angry. Okay, so your mood is not balanced. Okay, so normally they use steroid to improve, okay, improve their fitness, okay, and also to be more aggressive. Okay, normally they use in ni lah sports sports and health. So jangan ambil steroid lah So the last will be waxes that can be found in the plant. Okay, insoluble in water and difficult to hydrolyze, synthesized by animals and plants, act as a protective waterproof coating in order to inhibit the transpiration. Okay, so these are the structure of the wax. Okay, right. So this is brainstorming. Find the class of lipid below with its function and examples. So saya ada bagi task untuk you all buat. Okay, dalam masa 5 minit. Okay, cuba cari sphingolipids and prostaglandin. So this is a class of lipid. Okay, cuba cari apakah fungsi dan juga contoh dia. Okay, boleh dalam masa 5 minit boleh? You boleh search saja. Okay? 5 minutes from now nanti saya nak tanya. So dalam pukul 8.50. Okay, 8.50 saya akan panggil nama lah. Sphingolipids and prostaglandin.
Sphingolipids ni
What is sphingolipids?
the class of lipids containing a backbone of sphingosine bases. A set of alternate amino acids that include sphingosine.
Sphingosine and
Sphingosine.
sphingosine and
Saya pun tak faham saya baca.
okay, dia ada sphingosine dengan apa? Sphingosine dengan apa dia ada?
Sphingomyelin.
Sphingomyelin. No, sphingosine and fatty acid. Okay, so this sphingolipids is a type of lipid. Okay, dia satu group of lipid. Okay, so apa perbezaan dia dengan lipid ialah dia ada sphingosine attached to fatty acid. Normally it found in the cell membrane, tetapi mostly kita jumpa dia dekat mana? Which cell membrane? Dekat mana? Dekat myelin sheaths tu dekat mana?
CNS.
CNS, Central Nervous